What the heck? What's happening? What the heck? What's happening?
A horrifying mystery in one Northern California city where residents say birds are being killed at an alarming rate. More than 50 birds have recently plummeted to the ground after perching on a specific stretch of power line in Richmond, which is northeast of San Francisco. The utility says the California Department of Fish and Wildlife evaluated the birds and found no evidence of electrocution. The Department of Fish and Wildlife believes the deaths were caused by a BB gun or a slingshot. Neighbors aren't convinced.
Feel like a BB gun doesn't make a firecracker noise.
And I can't fathom somebody could be that accurate all the time.
Like firecracker go off and this bird just fall from the wire.
Right now at 11 o'clock, it's like they're falling from the sky. Tonight, a mystery in an East Bay neighborhood. Dozens of birds found dead, and it's not clear why or what or who is to blame.
Now, neighbors say that it could be connected to the power lines, but PG&E insists the birds showed no signs of being electrocuted. So the question is, what's going on?
It's a mystery. I think that's how we all feel, is it's inexplicable.
If what's happening along Bernhardt Avenue in Richmond is a mystery, then these are the neighborhood detectives.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Residents say what has been happening high along this power line since February just isn't adding up.
Sounded like a firecracker, and a black, I think it was a starling, just plummeted to the ground.
They say there have been more than 50 instances of birds dying along this top power line. Video from a nearby Ring camera shows the moment it happens. Listen for the loud crack. A bird then falls to the ground.
Super traumatic to see this.
This Ring video in the East Richmond Heights shows a bird falling from what appears to be a power line just moments after a loud pop.
Heard the pop, looked up. I think I looked up before I heard the bird crash.
Tommy lives in the neighborhood and says a similar incident happened 2 months ago.
At that point, I'm like, shoot, is this like what all these birds were coming from, all these dead birds?
And he's not alone.
I heard this pop like firecracker go off.
His neighbor Sharon says the same thing happened a few weeks ago, and it took place with a sheriff's deputy on scene, responding to reports of birds being electrocuted from a power line.
This bird just fall from the wire right in front of the sheriff. I was still about a half a block away.
In just the past 2 months, residents have counted more than 50 dead birds. They say it's connected to the power lines. But when PG&E came out to survey the site, they told residents it's not true.
It's impossible. They had to be touching two lines at once, which I understand their logic because the lines are pretty far apart.
PG&E did pass along 2 of the dead birds to the Department of Fish and Wildlife for an evaluation, with the department confirming to us tonight that the birds show no signs of being electrocuted. Regarding the department's findings, PG&E says they have shared that the birds show no evidence of electrocution and that their deaths were caused by trauma, potentially from a pellet or BB gun or a slingshot. PG&E does not believe that there was an issue with our electrical equipment and agrees that these birds were not electrocuted. The community is now left wondering who they can turn to for answers to a problem that's not going away.
I believe it's electrocution or something to do with the lines. But again, at the end of the day, whether it's that or gun of some sort or projectiles, like it's incredibly dangerous.
Now, regardless of what's causing the deaths, residents say they just want someone to take action.
We spoke to several neighbors who are trying to make it stop.
It's very traumatic. It's super traumatic to see this.
Littered along this stretch of Bernhardt Avenue in Richmond are daily reminders of a bizarre and tragic problem plaguing the neighborhood.
It was just horrifying. Again, I didn't even know what was happening at first.
Several months ago, neighbors began to hear a frightening sound.
And I heard this sound like a BB gun or a firecracker going off.
But what they saw after was even worse. Birds exploding after landing on a power line.
So when they land and it happens, they just quickly explode, and it's just really violent. Since then, we've seen 13 total birds that we've seen die from that.
Ring camera video from one homeowner shows the moment it happens. Listen and you'll hear a loud crack. Then a bird withers and falls to the ground.
I'm a big animal lover. It was just horrific to see.
Residents say they've since reached out to PG&E multiple times for a solution.
We think is that the protector seal or some kind of the sheathing isn't there anymore.
But they say when PG&E shows up,
as far as we've seen, they haven't gone up to actually look at the line. They've just sort of looked up from the ground and said it was fine.